Today we got something mad chill, bro. Right? Very chill, you know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy. When Ireland lives, I do not die, bro. Shout out to Buckshot, nigga. You know what I'm saying? I think he's supposed to drop a tape this year. But I'm not sure. But yeah, bro, like, right, just in general, right? The reason I made that quote the title is because it represents, you know what I'm saying, that the mind, right, the spirit, the idea does not die, bro. While you know what I'm saying, either the thing that created it or I'm saying, oh damn, okay, I guess it's not really the right way to put it. Hold up. I figure like this, bro. It's like the idea cannot die, bro. I'm saying as long as the mind exists, bro, the idea cannot die. It can be confined, it can be regulated, it can be changed and mutated, but it can't die, bro. You know what I'm saying? Technically, I guess it was changed too much, it technically dies, but as long as, you know what I'm saying, somebody remembers the OG, then, you know what I'm saying, you'll be good. And it reminds me of, what's it called? Fight Club. Because in one of the Fight Club comics, right, they were talking about how Tyler is in the mind. Tyler survives in the mind. You know what I'm saying? Tyler is the mind, right? He is the narrator's mind, basically. And from what I get from the, you know what I'm saying, Fight Club and all that, is that the narrator's mind basically he did like a disassociation program or a split program so that he could survive. He could actually get what he needed to do done, bro. He had a psychotic break, basically, because his older ego, you know what I'm saying, the ego that was in the job, stuck in the loop, you know what I'm saying, consumerism and all that, it basically couldn't do what his soul essentially wanted to do, what he essentially really wanted to do. So the mind split itself into Tyler. And, shit, hold on. Let me see if I can get something to sip, a little water real quick. But, the mind basically created Tyler as a way to truly express itself, you know what I'm saying? You know, but his psyche couldn't handle it because he was so broken, you know what I'm saying? He had no willpower. So his mind had to basically create a separate person or a separate persona, personality in and of itself, so that he could do what he wanted it to do, you know what I'm saying? Hold up. Let me see if I can get some water out here. Yeah, maybe. I think so, yeah, hold up. One cup. 2 cups. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. Shit, hi. What's poppin'? Just getting some water real quick. Before the journey ahead. You know what I'm saying? For the journey ahead. You know what I'm saying? But yo, what's poppin', man? What's poppin'? But like basically, yeah, like the mind created Tyler as a way for his true soul to its real essence to exist. The thing with Tyler though is Tyler is just a figment of the imagination. He's only able to play off of character, bro. That's why he, you know what I'm saying, burns him and all that stuff. That's why he does all that stuff. Can only exist through him. So it's basically him teaching himself a lesson, bro. And that's the type of shit you don't really want to get into, because he didn't have control over it, bro. You know what I'm saying? He didn't really have control over it at the end of the day. And that's how he ended up getting fucked up. He basically lost control. But the thing is, even if he did lose control, bro, what his soul wanted to do was basically crash down the system that broke him in the first place. And that's what a lot of y'all really want to do on the inside, bro. That's the thing. That's why it manifests in all these, you know what I'm saying, religions and fucking politics and all that stuff. Essentially stuff that gives you power within the system, but, you know what I'm saying, it's still within the system, so there's still always a way to kill switch that shit. And that's why motherfuckers fail all the time. That's how they fail before they even get started, bro. However, if you do it the raw way, right? At that point, that's when the COINTELPRO starts getting, you know what I'm saying, sticking on you. That's when you start seeing black helicopters and all that. That's when shit starts hitting the fan. You know, metaphorically or literally. I'm saying spiritually or physically, right? But we're in an interesting time now. We're in a time where the old like guard of this like evil ancient shit is starting to slip away, bro. It's losing power daily. People are starting to divorce themselves internally. Leading the charge is the females, bro. What's good? Leading the charge right now are the women, bro. Like when you see all this decentering men stuff and all this like feminism stuff and all that stuff, what's up? Yo, we out here, man. We talking about some rare, you know what I'm saying, esoteric spiritual stuff. But when you see all this stuff happening, and especially as a man, right, don't take that shit personal, bro. Because from a female perspective, at least from like a specific vantage point of the female perspective, the men is the thing that's holding a lot of them back. The man is the thing that's abusing them. You know what I'm saying? The male identity. Those who are at the forefront of the male identity, right? And at the end of the day, it's not just men, bro. Like, it's just not just, oh, you a man, so you a op. It's the specific way that a lot of beings misuse their position as men, or basically misuse their positions of power to then, you know what I'm saying, subjugate the woman. The reason a woman is even subjugated in the first place is because she has the power to basically give life on this earth. She can birth the heroes, nigga. Even if she don't want to be the hero. Even, here's the thing, right? A lot of girls, they ain't trying to be on, you know what I'm saying? What are we talking about? I'm talking about the current, like some current sociological stuff, man. Like some current shit that you see going on with this gender war stuff and this politics stuff. Like, the reason the women is subjugated is because they're essentially the closest thing you have to a god on this planet, bro. They can give birth, my nigga. They can create ideas and give life to ideas, bro. You know what I'm saying? They're basically the gatekeeper of what life gets to keep going. That's why you have things like rape and, you know what I'm saying, this whole extreme patriarchy shit and this, you know what I'm saying, misogyny shit. It's to break down the woman to where she doesn't have the confidence in herself anymore, to where she doesn't, you know what I'm saying, have that agency over herself anymore. And that's why you see, like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of this decentering man stuff and all this stuff is basically them taking a look at themselves and being like, damn. Because the problem is a lot of dudes, you know what I'm saying, whether, you know what I'm saying, they doing it consciously or not, play into that, you know what I'm saying, oppressor role to a certain extent. Or literally they are playing into that role objectively, you know what I'm saying? And you got niggas out here arguing for a certain way to be like, for things to be done, not because they genuinely believe that that's the only way and that's the best way. It's because, yeah, that's the only way they knew and that's what they came up in. So, you know what I'm saying, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors out here, bro. But I'll just say it like this, especially as men, though, don't take it personally, bro, when you hear that shit. That shit was gonna happen sooner or later, bro, because, you know what I'm saying, what's mainstream and what's being pushed in the traditional sense, right, as a status quo, especially in the country. I'm in America, right, especially in the country. You know what I'm saying? It's been about just who has the most power, who can kill the most people, who can, you know what I'm saying, has the most smoking ability. But, bro, that just leads to chaos and bullshit, because then you're going to end up having people abusing that power. And once you abuse that power, you give whoever you abuse an excuse to do you 10 times worse. And then you give whoever, you know, 9 times out of 10, they don't just take out you. They take out your associates and everybody else that fuck with you, you know what I'm saying, that's going to ride for you. And then you have, you know what I'm saying, the situation you have now with gang wars and fucking countries versus countries and fucking, you know what I'm saying, oh, Iran versus Iraq, like I'm saying, US versus Iran, US versus Iraq. Like, bro, don't nobody, like, if you polled the citizens in Iraq, bro, or Iran, and asked them if they wanted to go to war with the United States, I guarantee you 90% of them would say no. If you poll the people in the United States, bro, and ask them, hey, do we want to go to war with these niggas in the Middle East? They would say no, right? Because the citizens don't. I mean, like, really think about it. You got citizens from one country going to another country, fighting people that they never met before and they never had a problem with before in their entire lives over something that the government, you know what I'm saying, has going on. And the government isn't even, you know what I'm saying, for the people. That's the worst part. The government isn't even really for the people at this point. It's for the fucking corporation. It's basically running a business, you know what I'm saying? It's basically trying to make the business survive. That's why you have this AI stuff and all this, you know what I'm saying? What's it called? Yeah, like pretty much this AI stuff taking over right now, taking over the human jobs because the humans are starting to wake up too much. All right, so let's just replace them with AI. You know what I'm saying? Let's just make the AI do the job. Let's get people used to AI, you know what I'm saying? So now they don't have to do anything anymore. But like, bro, all it takes is for the computers to go down and you don't have the AI anymore, bro. And that's the thing. It's like, it's another PSA I wanted to give is like, the timelines that we are manifesting, bro, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to keep it, bro, I'm trying to get this thing off my lip, but I don't think it's going nowhere. But the timeline I'm trying to get on is that, you know what I'm saying, everything slows down to a point where we would just have one day of like, what the fuck is going on? And then after that, everyone starts coming together and being like, all right, this is what we're going to do moving forward. You know what I'm saying? Because then at that point, it's going to be obvious who the fake niggas are. The motherfuckers that are hiding behind, you know what I'm saying, personas, the people that are instigating conflicts. They won't be able to hide behind a screen anymore. They won't be able to hide behind media anymore. You're just going to be able to see what they're doing blatantly and without, you know what I'm saying, any magic tricks or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can hide behind narratives. That's a lot of things with this religious shit, this race shit, this gender shit. Like, it's the reason why, you know what I'm saying, misogyny exists, misandry exists. You know what I'm saying? Racism exists. The reason these things exist is to put weight onto things that don't really matter at the end of the day so that you can focus on that instead of focusing on the actual being itself. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's basically keeping you focused on shit that doesn't matter so you don't come into your own power, bro. That's what I say, man. Because if a motherfucker out here, you know what I'm saying, talking about some crime rates and they focusing on black people, you're gonna miss all the white people doing crime. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna miss the people in your own community that's doing the crime if you white. And I don't even like using that term white. They even that term white and black is fake. No such thing as white or black, bro. Black is just a colloquial term for anybody that has melanin. But there's so many different groups of people that have melanin. You know what I'm saying? Whether you from Nigeria or you from fucking Australia, bro. Whether you Native American or you from India, bro. You just have a high concentration of melanin. You know what I'm saying? But they just use the term black, you know what I'm saying, to group everybody together and to give everybody the same origin story. That's the thing. And that's the thing you gotta understand about this shit. Like, think about it, bro. You have people bringing slaves over to America, right? That's what they told you, and this did happen. But the thing is, why are the slaves fighting so hard to stay in America? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't the slaves just revolt instantly and just like kill everybody and then try to get back to Africa? Why they even play? It's because they weren't just slaves, bro, from Africa. A lot of these people were Native Americans, dark-skinned Native Americans, and they were prisoners of war allegedly. That's what I've heard. So that's where a lot of these slaves came from. There weren't that many slaves from Africa, bro. A lot of the African slaves revolted on the boats, my nigga. A lot of them jumped off the boats, you know what I'm saying? And then so yeah, everybody black. They all look black in the pictures, right? You know what I'm saying? So you're not really gonna question it when you are seeing it for the first time growing up. But yeah, like a lot of the stuff, even like, there's a reason why you had, you know what I'm saying, these Jim Crow laws and stuff like that, trying to keep black people away from white people and stuff and segregating that stuff. Because then you have the whites, you know what I'm saying, the modern whites, the whites who were born in America, learning about the fact that, yeah, man, it's you didn't, you know what I'm saying, your aunt, like, it's not like it's bro. Like when you come up in America and you tell like I'm saying a pale person, whatever you want to call them, then oh yeah, this is your land. Like your ancestors built this shit. Nah, bro, your ancestors just fucking moved here, bro. They wouldn't have even survived if it wasn't for the nice Native Americans, bro, that helped them out and taught them how to do crops, bro, and all that stuff. Yeah, these beings want to come over here and talk about, oh yeah, it's not even these beings though. And it's another thing too, like this race shit. when you see your people say, like, I'm going all over the place, but when you hear people talking about, oh, all white people are racist. No, bro. Nobody starts off racist, bro. That's just something that you get taught. Sure, you can have certain attitudes that could come off as racist, right? But that's just how the people came up. If you put these people in a neutral environment where race isn't even, you know what I'm saying, focused upon, then they'll get along fine with everybody else, bro. Look at children, bro. The only reason a child is going to be racist to another child is if they learn that from somewhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's just the facts. So, like, I don't like it when people go around saying, oh, all white people are racist, or they go around saying this shit, where they say black people can't be racist. That shit is just fucking, like, that shit helps nobody, bro. That sets people back, because then you have retards going around thinking that they're untouchable and they can just shit on everybody else without consequences. That just makes everybody else look bad. If you want to talk about, oh, quote unquote, black people as a collective, right? And there just really is no such thing as a black community at this point, bro. But if you want to take the angle of, oh, black people as, you know what I'm saying, a collective don't have the power to really enact like racist laws or, you know what I'm saying, have like a concentrated like system where they can be racist, right? And that excuses them, you know what I'm saying, by being racist. That's something that you can talk about, but then don't frame it as, oh, black people can't be racist. Because there's plenty of racist black people, bro. I'm saying whether that's, you know what I'm saying, because they grew up in the segregation era and they saw how young it's basically this, like, it's better to safe than sorry. It's the same thing with the women when some of them say that, oh, all men, you know what I'm saying, are doing this. And it's like, while it's some men, it's all men, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to like the assault stuff and all that, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to that, like, it's a very similar situation where you couldn't afford, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't even afford to, wait, hold up, bro, it's gonna get loud over here, so I'm gonna have to mute real quick, but here, I'll be back. It's gonna be a bunch of fucking cars. I'm walking by the highway right now. That's a little bit better now. But basically, yeah, you had so much racism, and racism was so normal that you couldn't even trust, you know what I'm saying, the average white person not to be racist. So that's where a lot of that came from. But then as times continue to go further down, you know what I'm saying, even in Gen Z, the average kid is not just racist, bro. The average person isn't racist anymore. Sure, people are still racist, but the average kid, you know what I'm saying, is not racist. It's to the point where they even are overcorrecting. You know what I'm saying? Hold up. Oh, we back, but it's to the point now where people are even overcorrecting themselves, you know what I'm saying, with this racism stuff. But like, it wouldn't be fair, you know what I'm saying? Sure, you want to educate your children about systems and stuff like that, but it wouldn't be fair, bro, to the progress that people have made to keep with that attitude that everybody's going to be racist. Or you're more likely to meet a racist person than somebody's not. Especially when there's a lot of white people being whistleblowers and pretty much spilling the beans that, yeah, my uncle racist or my grandma racist type shit. To where they actually, you know what I'm saying, giving you info about it. Like, it wouldn't be fair to those types of people, bro. That's why I be saying, like, you know what I'm saying, you swing your blade too far, you know what I'm saying, at too wide of an angle to really control who you hit, bro. You're just killing innocent people. You know what I'm saying? But, like, yeah, saying, keep it, like, on topic and shit, like, yeah. There is no such thing as the black community anymore, bro. I don't believe so, because If there was, there wouldn't be all this fucking black on black crime, all this bullshit. There just wouldn't, it wouldn't happen, because there's no reason for that shit to happen, especially not over drugs and money, bro. That's a lot of reason why this quote unquote black on black crime you see in the influx or whatever even happens. It's because of money and because of drugs, because of affiliations, because of, you know what I'm saying, things that were caused by said things. You know what I'm saying? Gangs did not start off as, oh, Chris versus Bloods, I'm gonna kill you. I don't even know how it got to that point, but gangs did not start off like that. Gangs started off with, yo, man, we gonna click up and protect our neighborhood from fuck niggas and from racist motherfuckers. That's literally how that shit started. But eventually what probably happened is you had bad actors, you had COINTELPRO, you had Dirty Moors, as they like to call them. That's our Young L, bro. Basically come in and fucking ruin it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? They doing things. I think this is another thing why you can't really call it the black community, because that's just too much. That's just too much of a word. That's like too broad of a scope. You can have a black person that's an agent, bro. Hola, bro, what's up? Like, you can have a black person that's an agent within your own community, bro. A sellout, bro. Like an informant and shit. Zionist Israel is running the world, ruining the world, bro. I mean, yeah, that's part of it, yeah. Which country you from? I'm from America, bro. It says Ireland, but that's just because I have the buckshot shirt on this shit. But yeah, like Zionists and Israel is part of that, and that's the thing with Zion. Like, here's the thing, like, even with that, bro, I like sniping it from a wider scope. I like saying this: any fucking thought or any like ideology that puts you above others, that's what's fucking the world up, bro. Because it gives motherfuckers an excuse to defend. And here's the thing, right? It's not really about the people that are doing the fuck shit, right? Because if they're just people doing fuck shit, you could easily just point at them and say, hey, get the fuck out. It's the people that are defending those people because of said ideology and stuff like that. It's because people out here saying, oh, the reason why Israel killing, you know what I'm saying, children in Palestine is because of Hamas. It's like, no, nigga, a lot of these motherfuckers are just fucking child rapists, child murderers, and people that are taking advantage of the situation to rape, murder, and kill children. Because don't even get it twisted. They are raping people in their prisons. This has been documented, bro. Even the female Israelis are complaining about how they're getting raped within the ranks of their own military. And that just goes to show you that it's really not about Israel or fucking all this shit. It's about the beings themselves. Those are just things that those beings use to cloak themselves and put themselves, you know what I'm saying? You basically have something to hide behind, bro, to where you can't just directly call them out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got people celebrating rapists over there in motherfucking Israel. Everything that Israel accused Hamas of doing, there's motherfuckers in that shit, in Israel, doing that same shit. And they're being, basically, what's it called? They're being like dead ass, like, encouraged, bro, to say the least, by the government to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? To the point where sometimes they're even being funded and, you know what I'm saying, directly told to do that shit, which makes it even more fucked up. But here's the thing, like, Israel God shows and people, all that shit, it depends. First of all, you got to know what God you're dealing with. There are countless gods throughout history, throughout human history. So what type of God gives a promise to his people about some land and then doesn't even come through to actually support them and actually, you know what I'm saying, like, follow through on the promise? That's the type of God you're dealing with when it comes to these Jews in Israel. Because if it really was, you know what I'm saying, their land and they're the chosen people, you wouldn't even have the whole Palestine thing happening. You know, quote unquote. But then it gets into another issue that a lot of the Jews, quote unquote, that are in Israel, especially these Ashkenazi European Arab hybrids, those aren't even the real actual Jews that are talked about in the Bible and the Talmud. That's where you get the Hebrew Israelite thing. A lot of those beings are dark-skinned beings, bro. A lot of those beings that are spoken of in the Bible and stuff, a lot of those beings are darker skinned, you know what I'm saying? The Palestinians are close to those people. But then again, it comes down to who is the God in the Bible. Who is the God in the Bible, bro? That's not somebody that you should be really looking up to or like looking to for authority for. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. If you ask me, at least. Because I don't have a contract with him. That's not my father. That being did not create me, bro. Christianity, Islam, Judaism came from Abraham, fathers of Abraham who are worthy of giving Holy Land. That's the thing, though, man. That's the thing. That God that promised him that land isn't even following through on that shit, bro. Like, for real. He's not even protecting his own people, bro. That's a problem. Yeshua create you? I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. Yeshua the being? I don't think so, bro. I don't think so. I'm very old. I'm very ancient, bro. I'm older than a lot of these religious like figures and stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just in like universal time, bro. Like I'm young now because I respawn, bro. You know what I'm saying? This body and all that, but my spirit is a lot older than a lot of that shit. Older than a lot of that. But like back in the day, we didn't even have stuff like that. Everybody was on the equal playing field and people were just playing with each other. It was like a giant playground and shit. You know what I'm saying? But then we ended up creating, you know what I'm saying, more identities, more egos. Stuff gets more split up over time. And from what I heard, a lot of incest was going on. So you had the mixing of ideas and the mixing of concepts that really shouldn't really be mixing. And then that's how you get a lot of the shit that's going on today. Like a lot of the weird mutations and stuff like that. But that's why it's True Hybrid Lifestyle. And I'm True Hybrid CEO because we're trying to bring those, you know what I'm saying, hybrids and mutants and all that stuff. We're trying to give them rehabilitation, or we're just trying to give them a new way to live to where they don't have to, you know what I'm saying, live in a backwards world that treats them like shit. We're going to create space for them in the world so they can thrive and actually develop properly without having to worry about, you know what I'm saying, getting slimed out, you know what I'm saying, or getting discriminated against and stuff like that just because of their being, you know what I'm saying. And I'm not going to sit here and act like some beings like aren't, you know what I'm saying, don't have that violent stuff in them, you know what I'm saying, baked into them. Like, for instance, like draconians and stuff. So you think we just reincarnate over and over because energy can't be destroyed, and we are energy? We need to get a movement like Austrian Painter, bro. Yes, bro. You do reincarnate, but that's not the only way you can exist, right? That's just for this earth and shit. You do reincarnate, bro. That's just the facts of the matter. But Austrian Painter, here's the thing with that, bro. That dude, Hitler and all that, even like anytime you see a being that has mainstream support, whether it's a villain or a hero, a lot of those beings are actors and a lot of those beings are controlled, bro. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those beings are being influenced by higher agendas, specifically extraterrestrial agendas a lot of the time. At least from what I've heard. Even with Hitler. Hitler is in contact with these Nordics, bro. These Nordic beings. These UFOs, like these sidekicks and all that stuff, the stuff they had going on in the background, they don't really teach you about with the Nazis. You know what I'm saying? Hitler had funding by certain Jews, quote unquote, certain Khazarians, I guess you could call them, like certain rich beings, like. And that's the thing with wars. When you have a world war or something at that scale, a lot of that shit is fucking not even genuine beef, bro. A lot of that shit is orchestrated, bro. A lot of that shit is there so that beings can profit off of that, and a lot of that is a mass ritual sacrifice of human life. Bro, a lot of that is just legit ass, just a mass sacrifice of human life, a mass ritual, bro. To like basically put people against each other and farm all the negative emotions, all this pain and suffering, all the trauma that's caused by war. You know what I'm saying? That's how a lot of that shit works, bro. Like there's genuine conflicts, don't get me wrong, but at that scale, there's a lot of manipulation going on behind the scenes, bro. And that's just factual. Like look into literally any conflict of that scale in history and you'll see the same bullshit happening. Yeah, exactly. I go as far to say that that's the main point of a lot of these wars. It's not just because, this is like, bro, like think about it, like, unless you getting invaded by another country, there's no real reason to just be going across overseas to have wars, bro. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, for real. Unless there's, like, there's a lot of situations you can create, right? But, like, how did it get to the point where the leaders are just so flunked that they can't come up with peaceful solutions between each other and then pass that on to the rest of the general population? Like, that just goes to show you that a lot of these leaders and stuff, that a lot of these leaders and stuff like that, a lot of this royalty, like all these beings that have been, you know what I'm saying? Oh my God, hold on a second, bro. A lot of these beings that have been ruling over countries and having big influence over countries, they really are just, you know what I'm saying, they're not really human, bro. Christopher Columbus left Europe 3 days after Europe banned Jews. Then he came here, killed natives, forced African slaves here on boats, and then blamed white men. 33% of slave owners were, I'm guessing you meant to say, white. Well, here's the thing, bro. From our perspective, right, from a lot of, at least from the ethnic perspective, a lot of these quote unquote Jews. Okay, here's the thing. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and act like it's not different groups of people, because I have heard, you know what I'm saying, it's like Zarians, like Khazarians, like all this stuff. Like it's basically like y'all are like, when it comes to Europeans and these quote unquote Jews, at least modern Jews, as in like Israel, the people in Israel today, it's like they're like cousins, or they're like half brother and sisters. Like they're basically like if you had the same mother but different fathers, or you had the same father but different mothers, bro. I just believe U.S. is Israel and is trying to fulfill Judaism. Yeah, you're right about that, bro. But the thing is, you gotta look past like all this religion shit. A lot of this shit is just the same shit over and over again, bro. It's just people are getting, it's basically a stage show so that people feel like they are picking a side and fighting for their side. But at the end of the day, it all leads back to the same motherfuckers behind the scenes at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? It's just meant to destroy your soul. It's meant to divide your soul and then destroy your soul. You know what I'm saying? Like literally. Like, cause I'm just gonna sit here and say this: if you have a Jewish child, a white child, and a black child, and you put them all in the same like play place, they're gonna play with each other like, you know what I'm saying, nothing's wrong. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna play with each other like there's no difference. The real Jews were killed in Palestine and Gaza. Gaza was the holiest Christian city and stood tall for 4,000 years and was gone in months. 400 plus reporters were killed by Israel in the Middle East already illegally. Yeah, that's true. Now, but what you mean by the real Jews, man? No one talks about Haldor bullshit. Oh yeah. Now here, okay, hold up, bro. Hold on a second. I'm gonna screenshot what you just said, because I don't know about the first part, but I have heard of that Bolshevik revolution and how that was some like fucked up shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? Now hold on, let me like save it real quick. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that more, because that's something I have heard of, but I just never really went in depth with it, man. You know what I'm saying? I just never really went in depth with it. So I'm gonna actually have to do some research on that shit, bro, when I get back. I'm about to go. This isn't gonna be a long live, you know what I'm saying? I usually try to go live for at least an hour or 2 hours, but this isn't gonna be, I just wanna go live because, you know what I'm saying, I said I was gonna go live every day this month. But yeah, I'm gonna try and actually look into that more, bro. I know about certain things. I don't really know about the full details of a lot of this stuff. I just know that it seems like there are beings manipulating stuff from behind the scenes in order to get people to fight each other and not actually focus on the real problems, bro. You know what I'm saying? And not really focus on like the systems, you know what I'm saying, that we're living in and that are created after these conflicts. It's like they're creating the problem and then ushering in the solution. You know what I'm saying? It's basically that type of shit. And now people are saying, like, instead of like realizing the system is cooked, they go, oh, look at this conflict that happened. If we didn't have the system, then this would happen all over again. When that shit wasn't even a natural conflict in the first place. It was something that was orchestrated, you know what I'm saying, on purpose in order to usher that in. It wasn't even this skull, autopsy biopsy. Speaking fast. I mean, yeah, bro, yeah. And that's the thing, like, yeah, like this stuff is gonna get made. This is the whole point of like me even streaming and having my channels is so this information. Oh my god, hold on, this is a cop and shit. Hold on. Never mind, it's not a cop, it's a fireman. But like, didn't send no text. Just rewrite it. It could be YouTube censoring shit, bro, because YouTube does do that shit. But yeah, the whole point of this, like, even me talking about this and all this and having these discussions is so that we're gonna basically try and create an underground platform, bro. 7 million German Christians were killed prior to World War II. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, are you talking about during like World War I, bro? Or what are you talking about? And by who, man? By who? Shit. But like, yeah, like the whole point of this shit is kind of Austrian Painter Burn, you know what kind of books. I mean, I know, bro, that's true, but like, here's the thing, bro. He could have done that and just left it at that. Why did he have to put these people into concentration camps, bro? Why do you have to send children to concentration camps? Like, that's the part that I can't understand, bro. If you're really just trying to save Germany and shit, like, why were you trying to like put all these people into camps? You know what I'm saying, and have them alive and shit like that? Like, that's the part I don't understand. Because the average Jew, I guarantee you, if they gave the average Jew a chance, have you heard of typhus? Nah. Chimneys were built after war. I mean, that's true, bro. That's true. I mean, it could be true. I'm not tapped in like that, but it's more like, then where did all these people go, bro? You know what I'm saying? Because these people didn't, a lot of these people never made it out, never came back from that shit. And that gets into like a whole different theory about, you know what I'm saying, the aliens and ETs and shit like that. That's like, if you look up Ryushin Malone, he talks about that. Ballpoint. Okay, yeah, sure. I can see all that shit. I can see all that, you know what I'm saying? But even if that, listen, man, even if some of that stuff is exaggerated and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that, like, what happened to like most of those people, bro? A lot of those people never made it back. And listen, man, I have grandparents, right? I'm on my mom's side, because my mom is part German. I have grandparents and not grandparents, but I had great grandparents who were literally involved during those times, and like a lot of those people never made it back, bro. So what happened to them? It's not like, it can't just be all fake. You know what I'm saying? Like, because a lot of people they just never saw their family again, or they just never made it out of that shit. You know what I'm saying? They just never made it back. Which means that something did happen. For typhus? You talking about like, is that like a disease or something like that? And then also, why did all those fucking people have that shit? You know what I'm saying? In the first place. Hold up. I'm about to go into the store real quick. Then I'll keep the live going for a little bit longer. He's saying because they caused black plague by poisoning whales too. Type of for them, little BB, like you said, you never want to exterminate him. He wants to move them from. Forgetting, I bet, bruh. Shit, I might have to save that shit. Well, you saying that they just wanted to remove them from Europe, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, bro, they're swimming in pools of shit in the camps, yeah. But like, bro, why'd you even have them people in camps to that extent, bro? Like, couldn't you just tell them, like, yeah, bro, just join us and be part of German society and just keep it moving? Because, like, you can't tell me that all these Jews are all, like, it's rich, just like in everything else, there's class differences in the Jewish community, bro. We have rich and poor, like, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You got, like, people, like, at the highest level basically selling out, you know what I'm saying, people that are poor and stuff like that. Same thing with the Africans and the slaves. You know what I'm saying? Same thing even till this day with, like, you know what I'm saying, the rich community in America, pretty much, you know what I'm saying, like, funding ways for people to divide up amongst themselves in like the lower communities and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, even like just shit like that, bro. Like, it's just too much like nonsense going on, man. Like, at the end of the day, if you ask me, it's like too much bullshit, man. Shit. But yeah, I don't know, we'll see. But like, yeah, man, I mean, that's stuff I'm gonna have to look into that stuff, yeah. That's actually, I actually appreciate that, because that's the first time I've actually seen an argument for, you know what I'm saying, this whole Holocaust, whatever you want to call it type shit. But it's really not even them denying the Holocaust. It's pretty much them giving the different reasons for that shit to happen. You know know what I'm saying? But which they're really, if you ask me, doesn't really make it any better, bro. You know what I'm saying? Said Jews make up 3.6% of the population during slavery and made up 3.5% of slave owners. I mean, that's true, bro. That's true. But once again, even if they didn't identify as white, bro, like, sure, they want to blame white people for slavery. That doesn't mean that the problem with the white thing isn't really even the owning of slaves, bro. It's the fact that they had a racist attitude towards the black community, bro. And that shit ended up spreading. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and like, a lot of that stuff could be blown out of proportion, bro. But still, to this day, there are people out here effing Groggles and Maxwell Dad. That's true, yeah. That's true. That is true, bro. Like, I'm just saying, bro. Like, even if you ignore all that stuff and you focus on what's happening today, there's people actually using that fake history, if you want to call it that, to justify what they're doing today. Which, you know what I'm saying, just keeps it alive. And these, like I'm saying, it's just a lot. It is a lot of manipulation, though. It's like straight up. And I mean, that's kind of the point of having these lives and having people present different types of information and shit. So, like, I appreciate you writing this shit. Just that gave me a lot of stuff to look into. Spider connecting the world, yeah. Like, actually, that is another thing too. Like, if you've seen like the Epstein files of how, you know what I'm saying, Epstein was talking to fucking the guy who runs Blizzard and shit like that, like stuff like that. Like, it just goes to show you a lot of this. So shit gets a lot more sinister. You know what I'm saying? The further you look into it. Biden, like, even if you're looking at allegedly Biden a clone, bro, that's another thing. Like, Biden not even the actual Joe Biden anymore. That's like a clone and like a fucking cyborg or some shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's so remedial and retarded. Like, because it's not like it's not a genuine human being. It's somebody being controlled and puppeteered. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just gets, it's like, and that's, once again, it brings it back to like this whole, it's not really even about race or gender or anything, but it's about class. You know what I'm saying? And people being pitted against each other in a pecking order, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's basically a fake and artificial pecking order, man. Look into Frazzle Drip. I mean, yeah, I heard about that too. I obviously haven't seen the videos, but yeah, man, like, I don't even, like, that's the type of shit, yeah, like, if you ever heard of Uncle Sam's Snuff Factory, bro, by Dylan Groves on YouTube, if you can watch that, it's pretty much, it's very similar, but like, yeah, that's the type of shit they be doing behind the scenes, bro. And another thing, I can say this for sure, like, once people start getting their powers back, this shit is gonna start getting fucked up. We taking these niggas out, bro, and we subjecting them to 10,000 years of torture, bro, for what they did, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why they have this Neuralink stuff and this metaverse stuff, because they're basically trying to put people into a matrix within the matrix, man. Yeah, these people, like, they trying to escape. Like, I've heard like the Neuralink stuff and all that stuff with Elon Musk, the metaverse, like, that's them basically trying to create a separate world so they can get everybody plugged into that world and then essentially escape, put their consciousness, because they do have consciousness transfer, basically put their consciousness into those fake worlds, those virtual worlds, so that they don't have to have, you know what I'm saying? They can basically escape punishment, you know what I'm saying, in this world and stuff like that. But like, yeah, man, we'll see what happens though. Yeah, like, yeah, exactly. That's the stuff that they do to children, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that any day of the week because of the stuff I've seen and looked into. Shit. I've even had dreams where that type of shit is happening to my ass, but not at that level. But it seems like somebody's trying to shoehorn that in, you know what I'm saying? But here, bro, I gotta get off, man, because I just got back in the building. But I'm gonna be live every day, bro. Or yeah, this, and yeah, you gave me a lot to think about, man. So yeah, shouts out to this dude, Life of Chris, man. But yeah, I'm about to hop off, man. Live gonna be safe, so yeah. But peace out, everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'll be live tomorrow, probably later in the day. But yeah, peace.